I am delighted to welcome old friends of the podcast, Simon and Lisa, and also drinking buddies from the Overland. Actually, no, it's Lisa was the drinking buddy. Simon went to bed early most evenings to.
I'm pretty sure you promised you weren't going to tell. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
Yeah, good to see you all. And we're
Look
also
at us being all professional.
yeah, it won't happen for long.
No.
We're also delighted to welcome Vivek Bhaskaran. How's that for a pronunciation? Tell me what your right
Well
name
done,
is, Vivek.
well done. Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
You're being very polite. We were hoping to be joined by Candida Lewis, but unfortunately, with the timing, she's actually on an aeroplane at the moment, so she couldn't make the call. So today we're going to be talking about kind of a new venture, really, although I believe it's been quite a long time in the making. Tours with Simon and Lisa Thomas to ride the world, with Candida as well. Tell me about the tours that you are planning. First one in November this year, I believe.
Yeah, so November's coming around pretty quickly. But the long and the short of it is we've run a few tours over the years very quietly whilst we were actually on our journey. I mean, that was 17 years. The journey came to a surprising end, effectively in 2019 because of COVID. But we've had a number of conversations with a number of organizations, including Candida, about the possibility of running a tour or tours. But there's always that question, what country, what kind of tour?
And we've never really been lots of opportunities, lots of discussions over the years, and it's just not quite grabbed us, but this did.
So we spent 6 months in India and we've given so many interviews and spoken so many times about India. And one thing kept coming up. We noticed that we were saying everybody should ride a motorcycle in India once, because you tend to find that India is what we call Marmite. People love it or hate it. But everybody should have an adventure and ride a motorcycle in India at least once in their lives. So quite simply, we spoke to Candida, because Candida is obviously from India. She's from Kerala. Some of our favourite parts of India were Kerala in the southwest, all the way up to Goa. Spectacular parts of the country, because you have the rolling mist and the cool temperatures around the coffee and the tea plantations. And then you roll down to the beautiful Goan coastline, and finishing a bike ride, whether it's a long or a short one, on the beach with a cold beer in your hand in Goa. Yeah,
Doesn't sound bad.
that is the life adventure motorcycle story worth sharing, and so that's what we've put together.
So tell me a little bit more why you've chosen India. Obviously, Simon and Lisa, you have travelled extensively through India. What is special about India?
Gosh, what's not special? It's crazy.
Well, there's always those. Before we came on, we thought, I wonder what you're going to ask, and we had some pretty complicated questions. And it's always the simplest ones that have you pondering. Whenever we're talking about riding motorcycles, in particular about India, it is very, very hard to keep the answers short and succinct, because honestly, India as a country, it's a cultural cocktail that's being poured down your throat 24/7.
Vibrant, it's colourful, the food
The
is just
food is incredible.
fantastic. Scenery, especially the area that we've chosen to ride through. It is spectacular. I mean, you're up in the mountains, you've got the coolness, and then, as Simon said, you're ending on the beaches, which again are so beautiful. And the people, they're just so very friendly and open.
There is that sense of actually being immersed in a completely different culture. And yet what we found interesting as Brits traveling through India, culturally very, very different, overwhelming at times, never dull. There's always an amazing wow moment around the corner. And yet at the same time, there was this sense of colonial familiarity that we hadn't expected. There are rules and regulations that exist. There is a sense of conformity that makes sense. And yet every single moment you're being confronted by situations, by moments and experiences that couldn't happen anywhere else on earth.
The best ever is you drive on the correct side of the road.
Unless there's loads of traffic, then in India you can drive anywhere you want.
Exactly.
Well, there is always.
And that's another nice thing that I like. You can pick and choose, but generally you're on the correct side of the road. I can't say the right side of the road because that will then confuse others. So correct side of the road.
But joking aside, we are going to have riders who join us in November who potentially have not ridden overseas before, and that's a big consideration, because obviously forefront in our minds is making absolutely sure that we give people an incredible story and adventure that they want to go home and share, but making sure that it's safe. Because ultimately we want to make sure everyone goes home safe, happy, and enthusiastic to return to India and perhaps explore on their own. I mean, one of the things we have done very carefully is we were asked actually just yesterday, oh, is this going to be a big hardcore adventure in India? And we said no. No, that's not what this is intended to be. When we were in India, we were mentally and physically pretty tired. We've been back to India a number of times. We were lucky enough to be flown out a couple of years ago, and we spoke at India Bike Week in Goa. We had some incredible riding experiences. We've been back since, and one of the things that became obvious to us both is that we wanted to keep the riding days really short, so that at the end of each day, you've got enough energy to go out and enjoy the country, enjoy a drink, enjoy some food. And we wanted to show the India that we've fallen in love with, which is nice boutique hotels. There's no camping. Yeah, if you want to carry bags around on your bike, you can do that, but we've got a backup vehicle, so intentionally no one's carrying their own bags. You literally enjoy the ride with Lisa and us. Lisa, myself, Candida, will show you the best that India has to offer in the southwest. And when you get to the hotel, your bags, your gear, they're already in the room. All you've got to do is meet us downstairs in the bar for a drink, and let's talk about the day and the adventures we had.
Can I go now?
I know. I mean, here we are in the UK. The weather's closing in. It's dark and grey outside, and we're thinking.
I think that was a no, Lisa.
I'm thinking not. It's just around the corner. It's going to be balmy. It's going to be warm. We're going to be getting into a swimming pool.
Definitely a way to escape the autumn gloom, as you can call it, here in the UK.
So listen, let's talk a little bit more about the route, because it does sound absolutely lovely. You're starting down in the south in Kerala in a place called Kochi, which itself looks like a pretty interesting town to fly into and start from. And then you're basically heading north through the Ghats mountain range, through tea plantations, wildlife reserves, waterfalls, and kind of ended up in Goa on some of the most glorious, unspoilt beaches, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I've got to be honest, this is kind of a personal ride for us. So we were talking to Vivek and we were talking to Candida. I mean, Goa is pretty special. Which beach do we end up on? Where are we going to finish this ride to really make sure that we finish on a high? Lisa's father, sadly, is no longer with us. But when we were in India the very first time, Lisa's parents actually flew out to see us, and there wasn't an airport in Goa at the time. So they got themselves down to Goa, and we met them, and we hired literally a set of small huts on this beach.
Oh, and these huts, they had to be rebuilt every single year.
And we'd go outside and we'd have a barbecue on the beach, but the beach in particular was called Agonda Beach. It is like something out of a fairy tale. Well, this is a pretty special thing for Lisa and myself to be able to share India with new friends. So we are going to finish it on Agonda Beach, where we last saw Lisa's mum and dad with us in India.
I'm just Googling Agonda. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that does look rather nice.
It is spectacular. You had this. I mean, it's just miles of white sand that drops down into stunningly blue water with palm trees and jungle. So if you've got a hammock and you want somewhere to put it, and you want a beer in your hand at the end of a long bike ride day or even a short bike day, yeah. And without wanting to be overly sentimental for Lisa and myself, it seems fitting to end the tour on Agonda Beach.
It looks remarkable. We are being very remiss, though. We haven't introduced Vivek. Hasn't introduced himself yet. So let's hand over to Vivek. Vivek, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing in this enterprise, and a little about yourself as a biker.
So I'm Vivek. I'm from India. Been riding motorcycles for about 15, 16 years now. Much later in terms of the Indian standards. So I started riding probably around 21. So I think during one of the rides, Candida and I met on the road. We started riding together. We didn't talk to each other. We just rode together. At some point, we stopped for lunch or dinner. And then that's when we met. And we've been doing tours on and off for a long time now. There was a period of time where every other week we were leading some ride of the other. Then after being bored with my IT job where I worked for like 12, 13 years, I thought of just doing something which I love doing. So that's when it made sense to do something around the motorcycle side of things. And Candida and myself are starting this company we have always been there doing stuff on and off, but we thought of making it a little more formal and start doing tours as a regular thing. So that's how it is shaping up. The company formation and all still going on in parallel. We've already started running tours and Simon and Lisa has come on board as well. So great, very excited about what's going on and very excited about the Kerala Goa ride. I'm also from Kerala. Simon, to correct you, Candida is from Karnataka. She's not from Kerala. She has some roots in Kerala, but she's not a Keralite.
It's important to bring these hard truths out on air right now. But jokes aside, Clive, when at the end of the day, you were asking earlier about why India, because we've got great friends who are real professionals in country, and if you're gonna start a business and you're gonna run a tour company, especially, you can't ask for anything more than having partners that are from that country and from the areas you're going to be touring, because for as much experience as Lisa and I have, it's Candida and Vivek who put the icing on the cake and really make these tours extra special.
So tell us a little bit more about the actual tour itself. How's it going to work? We're flying into Kochi in Kerala. Talk us through the 10, 11, 12, 13 days. Talk us through how it's actually going to work.
Yeah. So I think I'll take the thread which Simon touched on earlier about the colonial past, etc. So it's very interesting when you go from Kochi towards north. So Kochi as a town is a very historic town, and if you dig a little bit, you will see that there is a Jew town there. So it has a Jew settlement. There is a big settlement still in Kochi. So it's very interesting that way. It's a mix of a lot of cultures. Then we move on to Munnar, which is a hill station. So you ride through the hills. Again, it used to be one of the British summer vacation spots. So you'll see a lot of colonial buildings and bungalows and stuff. From there, we move to Alpare, which is again similar terrains, a lot of tea plantations, hilly terrains, lovely weather. Then we move on to Ooty, similar terrain. We're again in the hill stations, the Nilgiri Ghats. You will again be reminded of a lot of colonial buildings and architecture.
Yeah, all that colonialism. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Tell you what's wonderful, and Vivek can chip in on this. If you ride a motorcycle, it's because you like that feeling of adrenaline and you like bends. I mean, one thing that I hate on a motorcycle is a straight road. Riding a bike through the areas that Vivek is talking about is like nirvana, because it's one bend after the other. This isn't about fast, long days. This is just about taking that bike and just spending all day dropping left and right through
bends. And then every turn that you take, there's these beautiful vistas. I mean, just calling it the hill country, really, it doesn't sum it up. The plantations spreading out and you get the early morning mists. I mean, sometimes it's so vibrant and so green. When we were up there last time riding, I literally couldn't keep on the road properly because I'm always going, look at that over there and look at
you're constantly just wanting to pull out the camera and take a photograph of this valley that just seems to disappear into the mist in the distance. And then half an hour later, you're pulling up and you're having, chai by the side of the road and striking up conversations. And you're striking up conversations because you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah. And we ride for about an hour at a stretch, and then we stop for pictures or tea or conversations, food. So it's not a very tedious ride. So it's very chill, relaxed ride.
Did you hear that, Noel? That's exactly your kind of touring, isn't it? Ride for an hour and stop for tea.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got spaces. We can sign you up tonight, mate. Honestly.
I'll
So
send you
those
his
are
credit card details.
parts of Tamil Nadu that we touched upon there. Then we come back to Kerala to Wayanad. Again, we stay in a very beautiful property. It's hectares of coffee plantation where you can also do a little bit of trail riding if interested. That we have a free day there. So you can either choose to do that private trails where nobody get access to. And then we move on to a very historical town, a temple town called Belur. Again, very, very interesting place to explore. There are very ancient temples still standing. So we visit those. And then we go to Gokarna, which is again a temple town by the coast. And then we reach Goa. In between, I think we stop at one more place, but yeah, Agonda is the place we would end up in, and pretty much like Simon mentioned, that would be what 10 years back when you were in
Yep.
Goa. Yeah,
So
it probably
the first
might
time.
not have changed much from what you've seen 10 years back.
Well,
Sounds
it's interesting. I mean,
amazing.
the first time we went back to Goa was 2 years ago for Indian Bike Week, and there were certain things that hadn't changed, and that was wonderful. And I think part of that was the coastline, the geography, the weather, the warm welcome, the amazing food. One of the things that did surprise us was the amount of new infrastructure, roads, the airports, the number of hotels that weren't there before, and that certainly makes our role as a tour company a lot easier, in as much as you still have that selection of small beachside huts. If you want that real authentic Goa experience, you can just put up a hammock or hire a small hut. At the same time, if you decide that a 5-star major hotel brand is what you need for a night or two, those are now options that weren't there when we first arrived in Goa.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the temperature when you're out there? So presumably you're on the west coast, so you've got a bit of a sea breeze, so it's not horribly humid like it can be in certain tropical areas.
No, I mean
Kerala
this
can be
is
very
again the
humid.
temperature. Yeah, I mean this is. I
Kerala
mean
can be very
Vivek
humid.
will speak more
Yeah.
about this, but one of the reasons it's November to February are the key seasons, especially for riding, because the temperature is just perfect.
What's perfect for you, Simon?
So you're getting into Kerala at a time right after monsoons. So expect all greenery around you. So it would still be around 30 degrees, 32 degrees in Cochin. But as you go towards the hill station, it will keep dropping. So at night, it could be around 15 or so, which I believe would be very pleasant by your standards. But for me, it's very cold. It's super cold for me.
15 for us. I'm pulling out the bikini. No, wait, Lisa's pulling out the bikini. Yeah, I mean those are nice temperatures to ride in.
Yeah.
Again, it's the kind of riding we don't get back in the UK or in Europe that often.
Let's talk a little bit about the logistics then, because the flight isn't included in your pricing. You fly into Kochi, you've got hotel pickups and things like that. How's it going to work with food and luggage and all that kind of stuff?
Well, in terms of the practical logistics, there is now an international airport in Kochi and in Goa. So you could fly anywhere into India and then take internal flights, or you could just fly straight into Kochi. We'll arrange the transport from the airport to the hotel. If you want a couple of nights extra before the tour officially starts on the evening of the 3rd, we can arrange that for you as well. The evening of the 3rd is the official start. That's where everyone meets their rides. That can be a selection of Royal Enfields. the Himalayas. There are a few options as well for riders who want a lower seat option. As long as we know in advance, that can be arranged. And on the evening of the 3rd, everyone gets a chance to meet their bike, ride it a little bit, personalize it, adjust the handlebars, the levers to make sure it fits them, plug in any accessories they want to, and then we'll actually begin the ride on the morning of the 4th, potentially the 5th, but the plan is the 4th, and then we head up into the mountains and the tour begins. But yeah, the idea is to make it seamless. People arrive, we pick you up, and we look after you, basically.
So
Yeah.
how many miles are we doing on average per day?
Vivek, if I'm right, I think the longest day is 120 miles.
Oh, you'll have to convert it to kilometers for me. So I believe it's around
right.
200 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, round about that. Yeah, 200, 220 probably is the longest day.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people are going to think, well, that's not enough. Trust me, India is...
It will be enough in India.
It'll be plenty. Yeah.
It'll be plenty. I mean, that 120 miles, realistically, we're going to be looking at something between a 5 and a 7 hour riding day. It's so funny. We had so many people talk to us about the riding experience of India prior to us reaching India. And bearing in mind, we've been through Africa, we'd spent years in South America, we'd come through Russia, and I very arrogantly would often respond, it's okay, I've been riding for a while, I'll be fine. And then we got to India, and I went, wow, this is another level. So again, we're taking that into account. The roads we've chosen with Candida and Vivek, the routes are going to give riders plenty of first-hand experience of riding in India and those conditions, but they are manageable. I think that's the important thing to get across. We're not dumping people straight into the heart of a capital city.
Yeah. And we have had riders who have just learned riding, like 3 months into their riding journey, and come and done tours with us. And we have done people in their 70s who have not ridden for like 20 years and got back on a motorcycle ride in India. So it's all manageable. We'll handle that. It's not going to be a chaotic ride. Even though do expect a little bit of chaos in India, it's bound to happen. But we ride as a group, so it should all be good.
I swear to God, Vivek is the master of understatement. We are expecting a little bit of chaos. Just the right amount.
Right amount, just the right amount.
Just the right amount of chaos to make sure it feels like an adventure. I mean, the biggest difference for Lisa and myself is that we're used to carrying our home on the bike. So you've got a tank bag, our camera gear, 2 panniers, spares.
But it's also not just that. I mean, it would at the end of the day, when you're tired and you're hot and you're going into an area that you don't know, you've got to find somewhere to stay. Then you have to hunt for food. You've got to make sure that the bikes are secure somewhere. So this experience is going to be such a pleasure because all that will be taken care of. Everything is going to be pre-organized. I won't have to think about the food. I know the hotels are going to be good, the boutique hotels.
So, full confession, we literally, in terms of putting this together, we're trying to make it sound clever. We literally just put down, what do we want in a perfect world that would allow us to go back and ride and see India in the best possible way? And that's what we put together. And then we went, well, let's invite some people and make a business out of it. So yeah, there's a backup vehicle, videographer, photographer, medically trained staff. So no one's carrying their own luggage. You haven't got to deal with any kind of issues of weight. Obviously, if you want a small tank bag or a tail bag, you want some biscuits and bars, some water. These are all small items that each of us can carry. But basically, people are coming to have a lovely time and just to focus on riding the bike. And then when we get to the hotels, we take care of you and we have a nice evening.
Well, I think this is the thing about India, and Vivek's smiling now when us Brits talk about India. But from the minute you get into the airport in India, it's a massive. There's the heat, there's the humidity, there's the people. It's an absolutely massive culture shock, and for a lot of people, probably myself included, I've travelled there for work quite a lot. It's just too much. But I think this is where a tour like this comes in really nicely because you're still experiencing the place. You're still experiencing the traffic, the food,
Yeah.
the countryside, everything about it, but you're doing it in a really nice, easy way. And like you said earlier, it then gives people the scope to go, actually, I get it now. I see how it works. People are lovely. They'll do anything for you. I can go back and do it on my own next time.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with, and there's an awful lot to be said for going to a new country and having some kind of support system. I mean, bearing in mind, every person that comes with us, they're riding their own bike. They're responsible for every decision throughout the day, but knowing that they haven't got to worry about fuel, their bags, where we're stopping for tea. Have they missed the perfect photo opportunity? No, we're stopping at them. Where are the loo breaks? Is the fuel okay? So, I mean, when I talk very flippantly about we take care of everything, I mean right the way down to when we stop at a gas station, we make sure we're all there. We put fuel in your bikes and we pick up the tab. Everything is included. And then we make sure we're all good. And we tackle the next part of that day's ride.
So what riding kit, I'm going to say that again, what riding kit do people need to bring with them?
I'm guessing, I mean, for us, we'll be taking probably 1 or 2 suits. But we'll be taking some kind of airflow suit, the Touratech Rambler, or the Alpine Star,
Obviously, your own
Altera.
helmet.
Yeah. I mean, you can also buy this stuff when you get there. But again, this is 10 days, and for Lisa and myself, and I think for most of our clients, knowing that you're putting your own kit on. Again, we've got clients, and Lisa and myself have used airports in the past, and because you're not wearing a big winter suit, I just wear the riding suit to the airport, put a t-shirt underneath, and carry a pair of my motocross boots or my boots in a bag, and my helmet as carry on.
I often usually keep my motocross boots on the plane as well.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how comfortable you are. I mean, for anyone that's worn motocross boots a lot, you know they're pretty squeaky. So we've just managed to pick up our Revit boots, our H2O boots, and we're having a conversation with Touratech tomorrow about picking up some new H2O boots. Those things are fantastic. They got a BOA system. They're waterproof, but they don't squeak. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but
after squeaking around the world for 17 years and people looking at you like, what the hell's that? Like a big mouse coming after someone. It's actually really nice to be not squeaking.
But we'll literally take a couple of t-shirts and we'll take a pair of shorts. And if we want trousers or a shirt to wear, we'll just buy them when we get there. And again, it's inexpensive, it's fun, and you just buy it when you get there. Wear your suit through the airport.
And like Simon said, get a mesh jacket. That's probably the best way to do it. I use a climb induction, so that is perfect for Indian weather.
There's plenty of them around now. Lots of companies now do the mesh style jackets, don't they? From Adventure Spec to Climb, Alpine Styles, everybody. Great.
I mean, Adventure Spec have got some really nice suits out. I was looking at those about 2 weeks ago. I mean, another thing, a few clients have done in the past. We did a tour in Baja years ago.
Nice.
And a couple of our clients turned up in jeans and t-shirts, but underneath they just had body armor held with a mesh suit, and so knee pads, elbow, shoulder, chest and back. They just had a t-shirt and jeans over the top.
Bring a small over waterproof. That's it.
But yeah, light, easy to carry. This is not going into the middle of Siberia in winter where you're having to layer up with everything known to man.
Blended. So if one would like to book onto one of your tours, how does one go about doing it?
I guess the easiest thing, first of all, would just be to head over to touridetheworld.com. Now, it's interesting. We have just released a brand new website. So we've had touridetheworld.com for, good Lord, 23 years. But To Ride the World, actually, we took it down about almost a year ago. So it's up there. It's revamped. It went live. So quick question, Clive. Can I send you a link or send you a barcode to make it easy for people just to click on something? But if they go to touridetheworld.com and then click on the menu at the top and it says Kerala to Goa motorcycle tour, It gives everybody the information. There's even a really nice brochure they can download. It explains what's included, what's not included. It gives information about the visas and the flights, pretty much everything we could think of to make the website a one-stop shop.
Yeah, there's an FAQ on there as well,
Yeah.
because obviously a lot of similar questions keep on coming on up, so it's all there. And then, of course, there's always our phone number as well, and we're open for calls.
We are, because we are kind of old now. So I got this look the other day. I offered someone my phone number and they went, I said, yeah, you know what? Sometimes just an old-fashioned phone call is a lot easier than a back and forwards on an email or a WhatsApp or an Instagram message. You know, you can hear someone's voice, you can ask them the questions, you can get a sense of whether or not you want to spend 10 days riding with them. You know, clients can figure out whether they want to actually join us. The alternative.
Did you make the brochure, Simon? It's a very good, nice brochure. It's almost like a magazine.
Thank you very much.
Wasted.
And the other thing, of course, is just an email, simonthomas@tworidetheworld.com. I mean, one thing we're not short of today is
Ways of
communication platforms where people can get hold of you, or us in this case.
Splendid. What was I going to say? I was going to say one more thing. So yeah, if you do fancy a tour on a Himalayan, either a 450 or a Hunter 350 or one of the 350 classics, what's available?
Yeah, I mean the Hunter's an ideal option for somebody who's shorter in the leg. So Lisa might well be on a Hunter. Lisa's 5'2", I'm 6'3". Yeah, it's the new Himalayans, the 450. I last rode one.
Loads of character.
Oh, they are absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun tearing around the fields at ABR with Nick Plum. And if anyone's wondering what a Himalayan is like, go onto the internet, have a look for Himalayan 450 review and Chris Northover. Chris has just ridden one and his review of the bike is really worth watching.
How many places are left? Because the tour does actually start in early November. Do we need to book urgently, or is there a few places left?
No, I would suggest urgently. So at the moment, in the last 2 days alone, we've had another 3 bookings come in. There are a few spaces left. I've got a lot of people right now that I'm speaking to on email that are on the fence. And so I'm hoping that those guys come off the fence and come and join us. But yeah, because what we don't want to do is have 12 to 15 people. The maximum number we can accommodate comfortably is 10. The ideal number is 6 to 8.
Yeah.
We would rather run tours more frequently and keep this as a much more personal, low number experience. Versus trying to manage the health, safety, and well-being of 12 or 15 people. So yeah, the numbers are low. Any questions? People can just give us a phone call 07534 692 684. That's in the UK, or email simonthomas@tworidetheworld.com, or visit the new website. Just type in tworidetheworld.com. What you'll see will be a bit surprising. It's Lisa and myself looking a bit snazzed up. But the links are obvious. One is to Ride the World, and the links to the tour page are very, very easily found.
The snazzed up page, actually, with us looking
Yeah.
pretty, is simonandlisathomas.com. So we've incorporated To Ride the World within this snazzy looking simonandlisathomas.com.
Do you know what? When I sat down to speak to Clive,
Yeah.
you and Vivek, I wasn't hungry, but all we've done is speak about India. And I'm just thinking about the food and the dishes. And I'm just sitting here thinking, God, I'm so hungry. And there's not an Indian restaurant anywhere near us that we can just pop out to, because we live in Snowdonia in Wales, and there's not one super close. But that's what I want right now.
So one more question, final question. Hopefully this is the start of something that, hopefully this is the start of a new venture for you. Do you think you'll be doing other tours either through India or elsewhere in the future?
We are.
I'd like to say that's the
Yeah,
plan.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is the plan. We spoke to Candida very thoroughly and Vivek over a month ago, specifically on this subject, because our calendars are getting busier each year. We spend parts of each year working with a company called Viking Cruises. We have a really nice opportunity with them, but there are lots of countries that we are desperate to go back to and experience ourselves without all of the weight of bags. So Candida, we've spoken about Japan, we've spoken about India, we've spoken about, quite a few parts around the world. And we're already planning rides in and around India next year, including India's highest motorable pass. We had spoken about doing that this year, but there just wasn't time to get it lined up with our other engagements and commitments. But yeah, if you fancy riding with myself, sadly not Lisa, but myself, Vivek and Candida to 19,000 feet. Now that is going to be an adventure. Then let us know, because that's happening next year.
Also, if
Simon, you're
anybody
lucky that you
fancy-
didn't plan this year. The roads got washed away with floods.
Yeah. That's the reality. The road actually got washed away, so fate actually smiled kindly on us, because wasn't it, Vivek? It was this close to making it happen.
Yeah.
But we were trying to get the okay for Lisa to go from the doctors, and in the end, they went, look, it's not worth the risk with her heart conditions and her medical history. But yeah, and then the bad news was the weather came in biblically and literally.
The decision was made.
Yeah. But next year, weather permitting, that will be a ride to remember. But yeah, there are other tours coming up.
And we are planning Japan and Bali, I think, has been always in our itinerary. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
So
Not
Clive, the tough choice ahead of you now, my friend, is just which one of those tours are you coming on with us?
I am so skint.
Excited beyond words.
India's on my list. It's kind of Norway, India, parts of South America. I'd love to go and ride in, but being somewhat skint doesn't help.
I'm just thinking about rounding things off, because obviously the one question that anybody is going to have if they're thinking about, that this India ride sounds pretty good, because this is the first venture between Lisa, myself, Candida, and Vivek. We want to hit the ground running, so we're actually taking £1,100 off the usual fee. So we've worked very, very hard to keep the costs manageable. The usual fee per person, all inclusive, is going to be $4,900. This tour coming up in November, to celebrate the launch, we're looking at $3,800. That's fuel, that's accommodation, that's airport pickup, that's the motorcycle, that's the backup vehicle, that's everything you can imagine. And again, on those off days, the rest days, if there are any of the group that would like to come out and join Lisa and I for some off-road training, it's one of the things that we love to participate in and share the experience that we built up over almost 20 years on the road. But yeah, it's a pretty special price, and we know that people are going to, they're going to have a ride of a lifetime.